What is your full name, and why did your parents select that name for you?
Gladys Eileen Hilda Smith. My parents selected it because I had um, I had three uncles, and they all wanted to give me a name. So I was the first grandchild in their family. So I had Gladys Eileen Hilda. So three of my dad's brothers giving me my first three names.
Okay. When and where were you born?
I was born in Norfolk, England.
Okay. What year and what date was that?
December the 20th, 1918.
Okay. And then how did your family come to live in Norfolk? Like, why were you
That's where my dad's parents lived,
in Norfolk area?
in Haddiscoe, near Haddiscoe.
Was that because your dad was in World War II or World War One?
Yeah, my dad was in World War One.
Okay. Were there other family members in that area, like grandparents or uncles, aunts?
Just the grandparents of my dad.
Those grandparents of your dad. Okay.
Hmm.
So describe your childhood house. Like, what was the house like? Did you have electricity, indoor plumbing, telephones, any of that kind of stuff?
No electricity, no plumbing. We had an outside toilet. We had to have lamps to see with. Never had no electricity and no radio and no television. And the toilet was outside. And no transportation either. People got around by horse and cart. I rode horseback.
You did? Wow.
There's no, I didn't, but there was no vehicles around.
Horseback, like horseback and buggy
Yeah,
sort of thing.
either horseback or horse and buggy.
Do you recall like how big your house was, like how many rooms and all that stuff?
Probably about 2 bedrooms and kitchen in the front room. I think I could remember. That's all I could remember of it.
And that fit all 7 kids in there, all 8.
Well, we didn't. They weren't all born there.
Oh,
we,
okay,
we,
okay.
we moved before they were born. Some of them were born. It was just I think 3 of us there.
You, Joyce, and Harry.
And Harry.
Okay.
The other 5 were born after that. When
Okay.
we moved.
Oh, I didn't know that.
We moved to Peterborough. That's a big city.
So it's like from country to city.
Yeah. After the third child was born, my dad got transferred from where he was working to working in Peterborough. He was the superintendent of the sugar factory there.
What was your earliest memory of home?
Home?
Yeah. Like if you just think about your childhood home, what's the earliest memory that comes to your mind? Whether it regards cooking or working or parents or anything.
Going to Sunday school on Sunday morning and Sunday afternoon. It was 3 miles each way from our home, so we had to walk 12 miles every Sunday to Sunday school when we were 5. And then grade school started at 5, first grade, and that was right across from the Sunday school. So every day we had to walk to school. That was 6 miles every day. And my brother and I and my cousin, she was 6 months older than me, 'cause she lived with us for a while.
Joanne, right?
Joan. Yeah, we all walked together and thought nothing of it because there was no transportation and nothing to hurt you on the highways because there was no traffic, nothing. And then we did that until we moved to Peterborough.
Then did you walk anymore, or was it kind of close together since it was a city?
No, the city, things were close together then. I used to go and take walks when I got my teenagers. When I was a teenager, I used to go and walk in the country. A friend of mine and me used to take walks in the country and cycle in the country. And then when I was 17, I think it was when I was 17, I think we said there, or 16, maybe 16, a neighbor's daughter asked me to go to church with her in the Assembly of God Church. They were having services in a store building, an arcade building. And that's when I knelt down and gave my heart to the Lord the first time.
How old were you there?
I think about 16.
Okay. So did you know the Lord before that?
I knew him, yeah. We used to go to Sunday school twice on Sunday. And
But you were
we used to
renewed.
sing hymns and that, but they didn't preach salvation. They taught us the Bible. Then in daily school, the Bible was one of our textbooks, so we got to know about the Bible in day school as well. We had to memorize scriptures and quote scriptures in day school, so I knew about the Bible in my childhood days.
Yeah.
And then when we got to the big town, the neighbor's daughter invited me to the Assembly of God church, and they were having their services in the store building, and I knelt down by a bench and gave my heart to the Lord and accepted salvation. And from then on, I started going to that church, and I went to every service, and the church was in the store building all the time, and we had street services twice a week, and I used to play a little pump organ, portable pump organ that they had for the hymns on the street service. And, I think it was Sunday nights after church, and Saturday nights we used to go on the streets. And then the church moved to another location, so I had farther to walk. But I used to either walk to church or catch a bus part way. Sometimes I cycled.
What kind of games did you play while growing up?
I did hopscotch. Used to play in the streets under the street lamp.
That's like the 1, 1, 2, 1, 1 sort of thing.
Yeah, numbers. You kick a little rock from one square to the other.
Oh.
Hopscotch. Used to play under the street lamps in our street, and used to jump rope and throw a ball against the house and catch it and play ball.
I guess Kobe got that up to a new level for
Yeah.
basketball, and then the girls still jump rope.
Then when I was in high school, in England you don't go to high school automatically. You have to pay to go. You wear uniform, and my parents couldn't afford for me to go. But if you take a scholarship all day on a Saturday and you pass the scholarship, they'll let you go free for school, but you got to buy your own uniform. So I went for these tests, and I passed it, and I got to go to high school. And then I played tennis and hockey in high school. And then when I was about, I was supposed to go to school from the time, you go to high school at about 10 there in England, till you're 16. And I went to high school when I was about 11 and a half. And then when I was, let's see, how old was I? I had one and a half more years to go, so how old would I be?
4 years? Is it a 4 year?
About 14 and a half.
Yeah.
My dad left my mom when when her 8th child was born. My dad left my mom to go with the nurse that helped deliver the baby.
Is that one of your brothers' baby?
Peter. He was the last one. The 8th one. And then my mom told me that I had to quit school and go out to work and help support the family. So she had to go before a school board and tell them the circumstances. And they let me out of school when I was 14 and a half before I finished high school, so I could go out to work. So I went to work in a factory. And during World War II, we made parachutes and army uniform. Because World War II started when I was in my late teens. And then they called, during World War II, they called the women up as well as the men. And my age group came up, and I was called up. And I went for my physical, and I passed it. And they said to me, well, what work are you doing for a living? And I said, I'm working in a factory making parachutes and army uniform. And they said, well, as long as you're doing war work, you don't have to go in the military. And so I didn't have to go, but I passed my physical. Now, afterwards I thought, if I'd have had to go in the military, I wouldn't have met the husband that I met. I would have been out of the town. I'd been shipped someplace else. And then when I was, then one night, on Friday night, I cycled from work to the church, I was going to meet the pastor's wife there to clean the church and scrub the floor for the Sunday services. And we were on our hands and knees scrubbing the floor when the door opened, and from behind the black curtains, we had to have blackout curtains because of the enemy aircraft over. If they saw a light, they'd drop a bomb. And behind the black curtains came these two American Air Force men. And one was Campbell Iverson, the other one was Don Dalen. They're both from the Elm Assembly of God Church. They wanted to know the times of the services. And so the pastor's wife told them the time of the services, and they started coming to church. And after a few months, Cam started taking me home from church. He was stationed about 25 miles away in an airfield, and he was a cook there in the military. And then he started taking me out, and we went together for 2.5 years before we got married. We got married after 2.5 years going together. And when the war was over with, he came home to Yelm, and I was shipped the next year with all the wives that got the servicemen married over there.
You had Michael with him that year?
Michael was 3 months old, and had Michael over there, and we came by boat. We had to go to an army camp to be processed. Then we came by boat from Southampton. We went by train to London, and past London to Southampton, went by boat. It took us 2 weeks on the boat to come to New York. I was seasick every day, nursing a baby, and that wasn't very good. It wasn't very pleasant.
Is that when Michael got his shot?
No, that was next time,
okay.
Next trip. And then we caught a train from New York to Chicago, from Chicago to Seattle. That's where my husband met me, where Grandpa met me, me and young Michael. Then we lived in this house here with Grandma and Grandpa for a while.
That was with Bob too, wasn't it?
Yeah, Bob was in the military at the time. He hadn't come home yet. And then we moved to the town, home in town, right across from where the old Assembly of God Church used to be, where Jewel used to live.
How many years after?
We lived there 5 years.
So you lived here for a couple of years, or you just moved here?
Only a few months we lived here.
Oh, okay.
And then Grandpa, well, no, longer than that, because Grandpa, the boys, Grandpa's brothers, said Grandpa better go out in a trailer house in the yard, because he was, that we didn't get, there's too much disturbance here with a baby.
Yeah.
And so they got him a trailer house outside. So we stayed here then for probably about a year or so. Then we moved to in town 5 years.
Was Anna here during that time too?
Yeah, then to start with she was. And then she passed away, and Grandpa was here alone. And then we moved into this house, and he got him a trailer house. After we were living in town, when Grandma died, we were living in town right across from the church there.
Yeah, you kind of moved in after.
Yeah. We moved in after Grandma died. And then he was in the trailer outside. Then after he died, then we were here ever since. We've been here ever since. And then Grandpa worked in Olympia. He used to drive every day to Olympia. And then all the children were born in this house.
They were born in the house or in a
No,
hospital?
in the hospital,
Okay.
from this house. We drove to Olympia. They were all born in St. Peter's Hospital in Olympia. All but Michael, because he's born in England.